Good morning and welcome to another Lewis Art video, and I'm out with Mike today and we've come to Rosemoor Gardens, the RHS Rosemoor Gardens, and this is the view that we've got ourselves lined up to do. We are quite close to the education centre, so there's a good chance at some point we're going to get loads of kids running past and whatnot, but we like this view, and we thought, particularly with the sunlight coming in early onto those front trees, this is going to be quite an interesting one. So this is what we're going to go for today. Who knows how it's going to turn out. We'll stick around to the end of the video to have a look, and yeah, let's go. So that's the education centre there. It's fantastic for school visits and things like that. I think it still is the case that it's free to go to and use for schools, but you just basically have to pay for your transport to get here. But there was a case at one point that they were supporting that as well, so it's fantastic, really. Something brilliant that the RHS do to sort of support schools and work alongside schools. So yeah, but we may get overrun at some point by kids out exploring, but hopefully it'll be quiet for a while. So just talking to Mike about canvas panels and coverage. My canvas panels, obviously my previous love of spray painting has snuck back in because I use acrylic spray paint. So I thought to myself, well, you can put oils on acrylic. So we use acrylic gesso. So I thought, well, if I spray the panel first with acrylic spray paint with the colour of the sky in particular, because that's the one I always end up getting quite messy, so it'd be nice to keep that clean, then in theory that could work. So I sprayed with two different spray colours, a sort of an azure blue and a slightly darker blue, to give me that sort of sky effect to start me off. And then we've basically had a look at the composition that we're looking at, and I sort of said, well, I think that might be portrait because of the height of the trees and so on. So I've suddenly realised that this sort of lighter band across the middle is obviously in the wrong place if I'm going to go portrait. That said, I do have the spray cans in my bag, so I could set up another one actually and show you how that works. Morning, Mike.
Good morning.
He's sketching it out to start with. I think that's probably the best place to go to start with. Give it sketch it out and think about whether it is worth doing it in portrait or landscape. So this is a tough one because both landscape and portrait offer something. Portrait gives you the sort of free main trees through the centre and not as much else, whereas the landscape gives you other bits and pieces on the side. So this is a tough one to call. So if I want to do portrait with my spray cans, fairly straightforward to do. I'm about to spray my easel, I can't believe it. I don't know how I feel about this, but once it's done, I suppose. So here we go. Done. There we are, like magic. So that's the first bit done. And then the second bit would be a slight tone difference across there. And that'll be the sky in behind, and I can leave that. I really didn't need to do the bottom half, but now I've sprayed my easel. Oh well, c'est la vie. I do like spray paint. So Mike did just suggest me putting a bit of card behind to protect my easel, but to be honest, I'm not too worried. I have this kind of love of spray paint, and I love the sort of leftovers on the sides and the bits and pieces of wood anyway, so I'm quite happy with that. In time, I imagine if I stick with this approach, it'll change colour. If not, it'll end up getting more oil paint over it. I don't know, it's one of those, isn't it? It's a debatable thing whether you have a nice clean easel and maintain it and keep it that way, or whether it ends up getting covered in paint. I did give it a bit of a scrub this morning because it was covered in oil paint, interestingly enough. But yeah, I actually I like that. So anyway, so this one now has got the sort of sky on there, and this won't take long to dry, particularly with the sun on it, and then I'll be able to start painting on it. So I can go to either portrait or landscape now, or both if I fancy it. But I think I'm going to start with the portrait and just go for the three main trees through the middle. So yeah, that's the approach I'm going to take today.
Yeah.
Right, so Mike is off onto his canvas. He's done his sketch. What's the plan, Mike?
There's the sketch.
So how many of the taller trees are you looking at?
Oh, lots of them. The thing that's attracted me is the depth that so many trees give you. So the trees at the front, the really tall, basically grey trees, they really stand out in contrast with the background. But the more you look, the deeper you can get into the scene and the more trees that you see. And that's a thing that attracts me to the composition, really.
Yeah.
I'm not really that fussed about the foliage on the top. That's not really doing a lot for me. But,
No, right. So I'll just turn it this way a second so we can have a look. Might not come out so well on the camera, but I'm noticing the more you look in through the trees, actually the lighter it is behind.
Yeah.
I'd had, until I started looking at it, I just had that as dark all the way through in my head.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, yeah, like you say, there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of trees almost like heading back in, and then it goes into a lighter patch behind it. So that's obviously within that woodland there must be an open space behind all of these trees that's getting the sunlight through at this moment, which is more than enough, to be fair, because it's gone cloudy.
Yeah, it's a bit sad, isn't it?
I'm sure the sun will come out again, because it was pushing out some nice bit of shade on this side actually, but whether I'd have got that in my picture or not, I don't know. But... Okay, well, shall I let you crack on?
Yeah.
Thank you.
One thing I've noticed actually this morning, I didn't mean to keep these sunglasses on, but they do give you the values.
If they were red tinted ones, they'd be even better, wouldn't they?
They would, yeah.
Actually, I'll do the same with my sunglasses, but yeah, yeah, they do actually. And oh, just one more thing. You've got your bottle there. Let's have a look at it. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. All right. We're in the middle of painting, filming, but you're all right.
In the middle of filming someone painting.
Yes. Yeah. I'll stick them up on YouTube.
Oh, okay. So it's not portrait or landscape artist of the year.
Oh no.
Frank Skinner to turn.
No, he can turn up if he wants, but he get a bit bored quick.
It is. I photobombed actually Jeremy Bakewell.
Did you?
And the what's his name? Chang Sai.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were having one of the weeks of competitions at Stowe.
Yeah.
They were from similar places. But they played at Stowe this time, and everyone was set up. The amateur artists were set up. And they were trying to do an interview on the Pagoda Bridge.
Yeah.
We just wandered straight through it. And someone in the background said, "Cut!" or whatever, you know. And they both looked at me. And
I just
like,
So did you actually get on the telly then at all with that?
I was hoping for the actor, but they took it down.
Ah. Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but not only did it once, we did it twice. We did it the second time. And,
So
I got a complaint.
Yeah.
So he said, "Not you again."
love it. So we expect you to walk past there about 10 times today then.
Yeah.
All right, all the best. So I'm just washing in a couple of sort of undertones here, sort of lighter colours that are back in the back of the woods that we were talking about, and yeah, just washing them over this spray. It's interesting because it's not sitting on it quite as well. It's not absorbing in the same way, so this might not work because it may be too it may have something in it that's stopping the oils from actually doing what they usually do. However, on the other hand, it might have an interesting effect. But I've put a little bit of sap green, a light green in there, just in behind, so it was Ezo yellow green, and I've put a little bit of burnt sienna in there as well underneath, just to bring that out, so that might sort of bring that out a bit more in the foreground. And then I was just going to tell Mike a joke, and I thought, oh, I'll put the camera on for it because it's a classic. I went to the opticians the other day, Mike, and they told me I was colourblind.
Really?
I said, well, that's a surprise. That's certainly come out of the purple. That's brilliant, isn't it? Mike liked it. Out of 10, Mike?
I'll give it a 4.
4? Fine. Okay, fair enough. Anyway, onwards. So here we are. We're just pitched. It's getting quite busy here. Lots of people coming and speaking to us, and we're just pitched up by this amazing sort of cob building, and it's awesome because look, it's got coat hangers. There's mine. Mike's got one on his side, but he hasn't got a coat, so he's got nothing to hang. Brilliant, isn't it? But it is definitely getting busier. We're getting more and more people stopping and chatting, which is fine. But yeah, busy. So very thin layers underneath. I'm just trying to get that sort of little darker green in there, in and amongst the woods at the back, without putting in anything too heavy. So it's difficult to tell at this stage how that's going to pan out, but I think it's yeah, kind of looking at thirds at the moment, so I'm just kind of marking it out as we go. So there is the kind of undertones of it all, really, I suppose. I guess that's what you call it, the undercoat, underlayer. So much thinner, sort of spread on through. So there is a bit of light shining through as well. And I guess what the biggest thing I have here is that the branches, they're quite blue still because of the way that I've pulled the paint through with the blue undertone. So perhaps I should have had not gone quite so low with the sky there and done more of the done a different tone in there. That's something maybe to think about in the future. The paint isn't quite sitting on certain bits of this spray, so maybe it doesn't quite work as well. I have to think about that as well. But yeah, and I was just saying to Mike, it's quite abstract, this one, for a minute. Not intentionally, but obviously the undercoat has kind of left it that way. And yeah, it's like I say, I'm keeping it nice and thin so I can sort of apply across on top, get that grass running down in there, bring these trees out a little bit more, this hedge around here, and then it's the foliage in the sky. And trying to keep these sky, oh dear, didn't mean to do that. Trying to keep these sky, I've done it again. Trying to keep these sky holes, keep the sky relatively clean so that the sky holes will sort of, yeah, show through a little bit more. And I've just totally ruined it by doing that on that picture, so I'm going to try and clean that up. Yeah, and then I think we'll go and have a look and see what Mike's up to. We're just talking very quickly there about the metallic, the pots that do this job. Oops, sorry, I just kicked your easel. But Mike was kind of...
Yes, ruined it.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. Mike's followed me down the sort of the drinks bottle approach with the filter bit at the bottom, so you can scrub your brush clean and then the dirty oil drops through. So he's using that. So it'll be interesting to see what he thinks about that after a couple of weeks, because it's either going to work or not. I sometimes think with mine, I don't clean it out enough. That's probably my downfall. So it gets a bit manky in there. But anyway, so Mike, how's it going?
Well,
how are you feeling?
at the moment, I think it's pretty close to my sketch.
Yep.
No, as usual, I'm not enormously happy at this moment, but it is sort of skeletal, I guess. So more to do. I hope I can pull some of the trees out of all those vertical lines.
Yeah.
And I'd do something with the foliage on the top. I'm not happy with trying to represent it accurately because I've no chance of doing it. So I'm going to have to think about that and see if I can do something with it before the next round of people comments.
Yeah,
comments
I
on
know,
it.
right? This is actually quite a pressure spot, isn't it? We've just sort of had people turning up every like 5 minutes. Oh, can we have a look? Not really, but okay. It's like, if that's what you want. Yeah. So we'll have to when we see them coming, we'll have to hide it.
Good job I'm old and thick-skinned.
Oh, dear.
Anyway, time for another coffee.
I couldn't agree more, Mike. Couldn't agree more. With those black glasses on, Mike, but you know, all you need is if we have a white stick each when people come past, if we just hold that as well, they might just, you know, they might sympathise a little bit more. Oh, well played.
Well, I could do that. No, that's takes it funny.
Oh dear, oh dear.
No, an artist who does that is not very well. So.
Oh right, okay. And he's probably a better painter than you, Mike. No disrespect.
You can recognise what he's painting.
Oh dear. Right, can we do this then? Here we are. It's the camera. That's how I did that. Let's go in front of you, Easy. I don't want to spill tea or coffee all over. Right, here we go. Ready? What do you do first?
Cheers.
Cheers. 1 week out, so we're going to pot. So 1 week without painting, so we're going to pot.
Yes. Cheers again.
I tell you what, if we get too many people walking past, we'll have to start bringing scotch with us or something. Boost our confidence. Cheers! Buy me a large bottle instead of buying me a coffee.
Yes.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Strangely at this stage, I'm feeling a bit precious and a bit nervous about applying anything to it. And I'm hoping that the thicker paint will take as we work on this. So I think I'm probably not going to go for the trees at the top for a second. I'm going to work this bit down the side here, see if I can't build this out a little bit more, and then I'll go for the grass in, sorry, the hedge on this side, bring the grass in maybe, and then last I'll try and attack the foliage and do it that way round, I think. But like I said, I'm feeling quite anxious about putting paint on this canvas at the moment, which is odd because I'm not really bothered. And it's not that I feel like I'm precious because this is at a really good point. That's how I'm feeling about my painting today, which is strange. But you know, I guess that happens at times, particularly if you haven't done a great deal of painting, or again, people coming and looking today is kind of not, it's sort of up the ante a little bit, put a bit more pressure on for it to be good, which is never it's not the end goal is to have a perfect painting each time. The end goal is the goal is to continue to progress, continue to paint, continue to learn, continue to develop a style, continue to just get an understanding of oil paint. So it's the journey all the time. And of course, what people walking past are seeing is a snapshot of the product, the end result, and that again, so that's not really what it's about. So I think it's that's making me feel a little bit out of sorts, a bit anxious about it. But I've got to keep in mind that actually what I'm doing each time is developing, and even when they go wrong, there's an awful lot to learn. So yeah, just keep that at the fore of my mind. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. So I just put in the green down the bottom. I'm trying to give it a little bit of perspective by bringing this out like so. Not doing a very good job of it there. And the blue continues to squeeze through from underneath, so the oil isn't really sitting on this. That's probably going to be problematic as we go along, but it's not the end of the world for this one. So I've sort of dropped that in now. I've kind of laid this out ready to go, and now really it is about putting thicker paint on. Now this is the problem that I'm having, not so much applying the paint, but anytime you wipe away, the blue is coming straight through and the paint is just lifting off. So I think really what I need to do is kind of let this just sit for a while. I mean, it may be one of those situations where I don't go a massive amount further, but I actually go back into the studio and apply it once it's fully dry. But I'll keep going a little bit. I'm going to just apply in here, but continue with the lighter greens and try and bring that out. I'll try and get this hedge line a little bit better, and the swoop of this one down here, and then I'll see where I am. We have our own little building for lunch. Very posh. Just going in for my lunch. This yerbe a Pilkington cob shelter. Wow. I thought they just lobbed it up. Obviously they didn't. To be fair though, if you look at that up there, that's amazing. That's some work going on there. So the clay round here is good, but the stone's rubbish, is the gist of it.
Is that what it says?
I think so, yeah. What does that say? The roof is constructed of locally milled larch. The floor inside the shelter is made from limecrete, which is a more sustainable material than concrete. Limecrete. There you go. So a few things. Lunchtime's over, so we're back on it. Mike's trying to convince me not to overdo this one. I know what he's up to, but it's not going to work because I'm going to trash it anyway.
Are you local?
Bolton. Yeah.
Hard luck. Just joking. I deserve that.
You're this neck of the woods then?
Bideford, so.
Bideford, yeah. It had to be the rivalry between the two sides.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
That was cruel.
Oh, it wasn't really. Could have been worse, couldn't it? Could have been South Molton.
Use the camera. That is good. Nice people, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure they are nice people. Yeah, I know, I'm joking. Like you say, it depends on which side of the water you are and all of those things, doesn't it? As to which place you consider to be the opposition.
I know. My daughter's just got married, and her sister-in-law lives down in South Devon because she married somebody from South Devon. And the first time we met them, the whole thing was about rivalry between North and South Devon.
Really?
Crikey.
The fact that we should all be able to live in peace
It was
with each other.
hilarious.
Yes, peace and harmony, side by side at the piano. Ebony and ivory.
Yeah, bye.
Brilliant.
Lovely work.
Joy, yeah.
Thank
You're
you.
in peace now.
Lovely. Yeah, no, it's lovely to chat. Thank you. Yeah, likewise. Bye bye. All the best. So moving along quite nicely. I'm trying to put a bit of depth in here, and I've gone sort of working out some of the sort of side brush strokes. But then, of course, what I haven't done is re-strengthen these middle ones, so I need to do that quickly, like so, particularly those foreground ones, the ones right up, pushing right out through, so that's a bit better. But still, yeah, it's getting there. What I thought I'd do now is try and get some of the upper third foliage going. So this is the top of it, and it's kind of come down to about here. So it's thicker down here, and then obviously it's darker at the back, and then it's going to come lighter. So that's how I'm going to try and work it. So I'm just going to sort of mix that up, have a go at that, and I think that'll probably be about time, to be fair, and then I'll finish off back in the studio with whatever's left over. So it's going along quite nicely. A little bit longer and then we're done, I think. Cleaning your brushes, Mike?
Yes.
Had enough for the day?
Quite enough, yeah.
So, how do you feel?
Deflated.
Yeah, it's a bit like, I said it before, isn't it? It's a bit like fishing. If you don't catch a fish, then you come away feeling a bit frustrated by it. And I think sometimes, because we don't finish the pictures, or we run out of time, and then you're kind of not quite, you're always sort of walking away with a bit of frustration to it. But I mean,
Bring the camera back here.
yeah, we're bringing the camera back. Okay, go on.
It doesn't look quite so bad back here, but
I like it, Mike. I don't know. It's I mean, you're always your harshest critic, aren't you? And this is the thing. I think we see things in each other's work. I can't really. It's not really doing it justice on this little camera screen. But I love. You really crack this bit down here with the light. I love that. And you kind of. It works. It really works. I mean, mine's just like a big blob of green down the bottom, but you've got that beautiful. And you've got the light coming through it, which I've lost. I've just coloured it all in dark behind. I'm expecting to see the Gruffalo coming out of mine or something like that now. And actually, again, you know, looking at the what do you call it? The stuff at the top.
The foliage.
Foliage. Thanks. Brain's gone. You know, it's you've got the different tones going on, the nice light patches, and you know you've got a feeling of light coming along on it. It's kind of, your colouring so much better than mine. But it's been a nice day.
Yeah, it has. Gone really quickly.
It has. It's shot by actually. We're out of time. It's gone so fast.
Yeah.
I like Rosemoor. Should we come back?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll come back and do some more here because
we weren't
it's.
thrown out, were we? So.
No, that's right. In fact, we had quite a bit of interest, so that's good. That's what we'll do, Mike. We'll stay here for 2 years painting, and then eventually they do exhibitions here. And at some point, somebody from the Rosemoor will walk past us and go, "Oh, fancy being in an exhibition here?" And we'll be like, "Yes." We have a couple of pictures out of the 2 years we've been going. We can share. So here it is, the final version. The blue was interesting in the end. The paint has definitely is still, I could scratch that away and it would come through quite easily. It's definitely still there. And so I'm not convinced that the idea of spraying on first and then painting on is going to work. Although it did have its moments, it allowed to really scrape in some of the lighter blue areas like patches around here. So it's interesting. I think I'll try it again because I guess the real key is over time whether the oil dries and sticks and stays and doesn't crack and those sorts of things. So I can leave this one and just have a look at that in time. This is the final product. I've tried to push into the woods, probably with the light, bit of shade, light on the side of the trees, probably with the light with the trees. I think they're too yellow again. I think looking again, it's paler in a way. It's kind of got more white to it. So I think perhaps that's where I need to think about going in the future. These areas here are fairly messy and just very quick and poked in. I haven't spent any time there at all really. The real effort was in this sort of central zone and getting this bit right. It was a really enjoyable day out at Rosemoor, and I quite enjoyed coming back and just finishing this one off. So all in all, not a bad effort. Quite pleased with it. Again, it's not about the end product, it's about the journey. I've learned quite a few things attempting to do this one, and hopefully I can take those lessons forwards. So just before I switch the camera on, I not quite spirit over, so it absolutely stinks in here. The fumes are making me high. So thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed that, and sorry it's a little bit longer than usual. There's just quite a lot of stuff in there. I just kind of decided to leave it in. Hopefully you enjoy it anyway, and as always, thanks for those who are supporting me through the comments and subscribing, and everyone that's supporting me as well on Buy Me a Coffee. So that's really helpful because that means I can buy new materials, which is in particular because I'm getting very low on things like white, which is a nightmare. So thanks for that, and yeah, I'll see you all again soon. Have a good week. Bye. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this or any of my other videos, there are a number of ways you can support me in the future. Like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. And now you can even donate on my Buy Me a Coffee page. As you can see from my new videos, I love coffee. But your donation will do more than just keep me full of caffeine. Every donation will go straight into buying new art materials for future projects, so your help will be truly appreciated. It's easy to use. Simply follow the link and you can donate as little as £2 to help out. Feel free to leave a comment, and there's even a link to my website. Your support really does go a long way to helping me to create more art in the future. Thanks.